Greetings, welcome to another day of Autoforge development. Today we started looking at hot reloading for our Lua scripts. So hot reloading is where we can have the game running and go to one of our scripts, change some code, save it, and the game detects that file change and loads up the new script and applies whatever changes it has. And that is extremely helpful because it just, cuts down on the iteration time. We're able to quickly see changes. We can have our editor on one side of the screen, the game on the other side, make changes and see, that stuff changing in the game. And so we're trying to figure out how to make that work because doing this is kind of complex. We want to change the logic and sometimes the actual data that's being stored, but for the most part we want to persist all of the game state, right? We might want to change one or two small things about the game state, but we want to keep the rest of it intact. And so we need to figure out how do we swap out these this logic but keep the state. And so that's what I was trying to figure out today. How can we make that happen? In particular, or more specifically, I should say, how do we make that happen with Teal and being Teal friendly? So I started playing around with some stuff, thinking that it would not work, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it looks like it does. So what we have here is, so Teal, again, since it's kind of like a uncommon or unknown language, it's a typed dialect of Lua. So Teal allows us to create classes, or they call them records. And so what I did is I made these this little realm and world just because that's something that I know I'm going to have in the game, and so it's closer to what I would have in the game, and it helps me kind of see if this is actually going to work. But I set that up, and the most important thing is this instantiate. So whenever we create a new realm or world or anything, we call this instantiate function, and this is actually getting a little bit more technical than I typically do. So this instantiate, what it will do is it will create this new object and set the meta table on it, providing for that class realm. So that way, whenever we try to access a value, we try to index something within this object, it will go to a realm and get that, right? So we'll try to get the version or get the update or whatever. And so that is I thought, and I was fortunately correct, that was the key, is that hey, if we change that index to point to something else, to point to the new thing, then that would work, right? So we have this instance, and it's kind of saying hey, look at this function code. This is where, this is what I want you to be calling. So if we change that and say, hey, actually look at this new code now, then it will work. And so what I ended up doing is, let's see, all the way down here, I ended up adding in this update function to world, and have the world is creating realms and everything. And so I have the IDs on them, and then also gave them the versions. And what that ends up looking like is it's printing out this code here where it says hey, this is version 1, this is version 1, and then we do a hot reloading, and then we call realm update version 2, and so that's where we're oh hey, this is working. This version 2, so this is actually something, the next step that I need to figure out is how do I make it so callbacks are working, because right now the callback isn't working. We can see that work if I just do that. Then, oh, whoops. There we go. Now it actually is getting the correct version here, but yeah, that's like having callbacks or functions that are stored elsewhere, that doesn't work. But we do have it so that this is working, which is awesome. And we also made it so that our data, so like how it's working is that we're storing this any instances that we create in this huge class ID map, um, and then or table, and then whenever we reload that class, we just iterate through all of those instances and update it, right? And we have it so that the instances that are being stored inside of this instance table are weak instances. So that way, if we do like a garbage collection on it or whatever, like we destroy it, like here we destroy that first realm, then it will actually allow the garbage collector to clean it up and everything. Yeah, so that's pretty much hot reloading. It's like really complicated, and I know I kind of went into more details than I typically do, but it's really cool and it's very tricky. There's more to be done here, and so I'm gonna keep working on it, and we'll probably kind of recap more tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.